Welcome to Effervescent, where we embrace a full circle approach to health, and happy Halloween. So we're going to start out with some breath work, and then we're going to tell you what this episode's about. So for this breath work, wherever you're at, ideally you're probably not going to want to be around people, but if you are, even more work. So we're going to do lion's breath. We're going to all imagine that we're a lion for Halloween, okay? So we're going to go all out on the breath work. So lion's breath, a lot of people do. Lion's breath is intended to open your throat chakra.
That's why I hate it.
So just start breathing. Just find your breath for a second. And then on your next exhale, exhale all the way. Okay. And then inhale, big inhale, and you're going to stick your tongue out. You're going to look up, and you're going to go, yes. And then you can laugh, and then you can relax. And I really hope you're not just watching us do this. I'm serious. You better be doing this with us.
With the bacon and the...
Yes. So exhale all the way. Inhale. And on the exhale, make it so dramatic. Stick your tongue out, look up. So good. We're going to do it one more time. And if you haven't done it so far, let this be the one that you do. So exhale. Inhale. And then look up, widen your face, stick out your tongue.
Yeah, without laughing.
It's hard to do it into mics, but it's also probably hard to do it in general. And so it's a good practice.
Can you tell us why we do that?
Yeah, so it's really to open your throat chakra, but throat chakra is connected to third chakra, which it governs shame. And so often we don't talk because we feel shame or embarrassment or we fear judgment. And so it's so good to do something embarrassing, quote unquote, or loud to practice standing in our own power and just using our voice, looking funny regardless of what people think of us.
Now I know why you chose this one for this episode.
Oh, I didn't. Actually, I did it because I'm like, lion, Halloween. Okay.
Oh.
But, oh my gosh, how fitting. We are really, how do I want to phrase this? We just had a pep talk saying we're going to try to do this episode disclaimer free because it is a practice for all of us to speak freely about our story. And yeah.
Are we going to disclaimer our costumes first or just no?
I know. Should we say what we are? I mean, I'm sure everyone knows. Yeah.
B is bacon.
B for bacon. Because she's so healthy.
Because she's so healthy and protein.
I like bacon. I like turkey bacon.
And then Mom is the psychologist here, the performance psychologist. So, of course, she's going to be a Quidditch player.
Love Harry Potter.
You guys have to explain me instead of me.
And Kinley is a beautiful, wise dragon.
Dragon.
Without the wings.
Without wings. Okay. So, this episode, we're going to talk about a very real experience that we had. And we lived in a haunted house, and we want to share our story because we actually haven't, for one, but even when we try to talk about it, even just together, like, it's like, oh yeah, that happened. Oh yeah, that happened. Because we all really kind of blocked it out because it scared us a lot.
Perfect for spooky Halloween season.
Yeah, this is for Halloween intentionally, and it's the first time we've talked about it so open, even just together. Yeah, do you have anything else you want to say to like preface this episode? Our hope is that when we share this story, it's not just to scare you, like
not just
to scare you. Happy Halloween, but also this whole story did help us a lot moving forward and kind of changed all of our lives for the better. And hopefully we end the episode with that if we forget.
Yeah.
Oops, but
it opened our eyes, made us, yeah, it really did kind of start off all of our like intuitiveness.
Yeah, because we were really, I mean, who's not scared of haunted houses and
like the other spiritual realms,
stuff like that? Yeah. So
it's like half of scary movies out there is like The Conjuring and the you know, like
evil.
Well,
yeah, the fear of spirits are evil.
Yeah,
I think is how we all came into the situation, and then we experienced it, and we just learned a lot of boundaries. We learned a lot.
When you watch somebody in a movie, you're like, get out of the house.
Yeah,
but it's not always that easy. What we came to find out in our experience.
And we also were saying like this could be a whole series but we're just going to go all out and just put it all in one
Yeah.
giant episode.
You can pause it and then listen to it again, or if it's a longer episode.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, get some popcorn, watch us with a friend. Okay, where do we want to start, Mom? I feel like you should be the one to start out the story.
Agreed.
Yeah, okay. Once upon a time, we lived in a house and we felt like it was time to move. So we looked for a house to rent. And it was surprisingly hard to find a house big enough to rent for all of our family because we have a lot of kids and we didn't want to move too far because the kids' school and stuff like that. And we finally found a house that we felt like was big enough to rent for all of the kids. And the rent price wasn't too bad. And we felt like, okay.
It's perfect.
When you paint the picture and we're telling you it was a haunted house, it's not like we pulled up to the house and we're like, this looks like a haunted house. Actually, it's a beautiful home.
Yeah. Nice
But it had been vacant.
And it had been vacant for a long time.
And they struggled to fill it.
And they did struggle to fill it.
Wait, I actually didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
funny.
And everything was fine and lovely for a while.
This literally sounds like a horror film. It was. Okay.
Yeah.
And I could write a movie about this. It was that
that's what I'm saying.
intense and it was that many things that happened that we could.
I'm getting chills already.
I think I'm going to
like-
jump forward to the exact moment when I knew something major was.
Did you know
Go ahead.
initially? Like when we moved in, it was just like new home.
I feel like that's a
Or
lot
did
of
you-
energies too. It's like you're moving, you're figuring
Yeah.
out stuff.
But
When you
also-
first moved into a house, it always feels a little
Yeah.
off. It's not your
Yeah.
energy yet.
1,000%.
It did feel off, but that's normal for me when I go in a new space and you're like, this is my new home. It doesn't feel like mine. And it takes some time for it to feel like yours.
And it had like red carpet and like did we update it? Maybe we
Yeah,
didn't.
we did. No, we actually put quite a bit of money into updating it, even though it was
Even
our
though it was a
rental
rental,
house.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it looked a little aged, so it was like, okay, it could be the house.
Yeah. So we moved in. It did feel a little bit like this isn't our house, but I didn't initially feel like something's wrong.
I'm moving
You
in
know.
a week. Can we bless my house, by the way? But keep going.
So specifically this night when I was just like, this is a thing, and I didn't realize how long the thing would be, is I hadn't fallen asleep yet. And John and I were just like watching TV or whatever. And we have one of those sleep number beds where you can pump up each side of your bed to the firmness you want or how soft you want.
They're nice.
And mine had broken a few days before that. So mine was completely sunk in like a U. It was like sleeping in a hammock. And I looked at John. I said, there's no way I can sleep in this bed. Like I've got to go sleep with one of the kids. I can't sleep in this. And so I left and I went downstairs to Brighton's room.
Yep, it's coming back to me now.
Because she had a king size bed and she didn't sleep with any other kids. So I felt like, oh, it's right here. I'll just
And you
sleep.
were how old?
I was young I was trying to figure it out. When we moved in, I was like just turning 13, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so I laid down and I said, hey, Brighton, I need to sleep. And you're like, why? It was just that age of like, why are you sleeping in my room?
Yeah.
And I'm like, my bed's broken. Sorry, I got to sleep here. And you were frustrated because you're like,
I was so mad. I remember thinking back to it. It's one of those kid things where you're like, why was I so rude to my poor mom? Like I was rude.
You had just left all of your friends at your old school.
Yeah.
You were in a hard time of your life anyway, and the changes were hard for
Yeah,
everyone
I was
whenever you move, I
pissed.
think. So I laid there for probably like 10 minutes, and you're like, I'm out of here. Like, I can't sleep. And I'm like, okay. So she got up, and she walked around the bed, and she went out to sleep on the couch. You said, I'm going to sleep on the couch, and laid down, and we had the couch and then a TV. And on the right side, there was a storage room. And on your left side was a door that went outside. And you laid down and literally it had probably been like 15 minutes. And I hadn't even gone to sleep yet. And I'm sure she hadn't had a chance to go to sleep yet either because it wasn't even long. And do you remember this? Do you want to tell us part what you saw? Because I can remember what you told me. But
Yeah, that's what's hard. And like, I guess this isn't really a disclaimer, but like I was young. So like if I get facts wrong, you guys listening to this is real and this happened. But if I get facts wrong, it's probably because I was young and I you can't remember all the things, but I'll tell and then you tell. But I now remember this. So I kind of was like just in that weird like sleep wake state, but I was pretty much awake because you're right. It wasn't that long that I was like laying on the couch. I already had that. Oh my gosh, you guys. I already
know.
had that
I'm
like,
like, everyone take a breath.
yeah. Ugh.
Everyone listening. I'm going to just remind people through the episode to take
Take
a breath. Okay, keep going.
I already had, that I've never liked the dark. So it's always that, the little anxiety while you're like in the dark trying to sleep. And so I was like trying to drift to sleep. And I remember seeing from one end of the living room to the other, passing across the TV, it was like an orb shaped thing. But it was weird because I swear it was like half, like I thought I saw a human for a second, but then half like an orb and it was a light. Is that what I told you? And then like
so what
came
you
across.
told me is that, but also you said you saw a girl with long hair.
So this is where this
In a
is two
dress.
separate things that happened.
Okay, and I do remember you talking about what you're saying later, but do you remember the girl at
Yes, and this is where it tied with Whitney another night. So I can get into that in a little bit, but the first night I remember I didn't really see anything, but I did say that, and we'll get into that. This time it was like it was an orb that was kind of moving across like a person in a
the
way.
same place?
Different place. The other one was in the kitchen late at night, but two separate occasions this happened. So that was my first one, was orb thing. It was almost like it was human in a way of like it like just walked kind of across. I didn't see anything though besides like a light. And then I remember got so scared I got up and freaking left and went in and slept with you, which is funny because I was pissed that you were in my room and now I was like happy you were in my room. And then you actually told me about experiences you had when you were little, but I remember thinking like we were both scared of being like, and I remember feeling like you were kind of, pause. I remember being worried about telling you at first, thinking that I was like crazy because I was like, it was an orb, but it was like a person, but it was an orb. Like it was just unexplainable. And so, but you were like totally on board with me, which even for me being young, I remember thinking like, has my mom felt the same thing in this house before? Because it wasn't like, no, Brighton, like it's okay, go to sleep. You were like, no, yeah, I, what did it look like? Or like you were more interested, but yeah.
Yeah, so this night that I'm talking about specifically, you ran in out of breath, crying, literally like, Mom, Mom, Mom. I was laying on the couch and a girl came out of the storage room and she floated right across between me and the TV and then went out the doors to the outside. So literally you called, she said she had long blonde hair, she had a light blue dress on. The space between the couch and the TV is maybe 10 feet. It's not like it was even far off. So she came right in front of you and then just went right out the door. And so when you came in, you were just like white as a ghost, as they say, and scared to death. And you were crying and you couldn't even breathe. And you're just like, I'm like, what?
Yeah,
what,
I was terrified.
And at first
horrified.
I thought something physically happened to you. I had no idea what was going on because she was so like inconsolable. She couldn't even like breathe. And I'm like, lay down, it'll be okay. And so she laid down and I like held her and she just like repeated like exactly what happened, what she looked like, very clear detail, everything. And I remember, this is the mom in me, right? I remember looking towards the door that was open into that room because it's not far away and it was cracked a little bit. And I remember thinking, and I've had to think this many times as a mom, I need to be strong for her, but I'm scared as hell too,
Yeah.
But I have to be calm because if I'm stressed out, like it's just going to make things worse. So I just held her and I remember I couldn't sleep forever and she fell asleep in my arms. But I just remember thinking, okay, like I'm going to have to deal with this. And finally, eventually I fell asleep. But that was the first moment when, even though there were like off feelings, that was very clear and vivid.
Yeah. I almost want to tell the second story because it really does truly tie into this. But then I know you guys have so many more experiences than honestly I did. But so what happened, and I actually thought this happened first, but now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, no, maybe the living room happened first and then this happened, whatever way it did. So this is the craziest one, and Whitney will attest to this. Our other sister, we didn't even ask if they were like okay with it.
They were
Are they okay
on
with
the
it?
phone yesterday when we were talking about it, and they heard that we were going to talk about it.
Okay, because this
Ella
is
and
very
Whitney.
much like Whitney's story, but I know it well enough, and it coincides with my story, so
We can cut it out if she's not okay.
yeah, I will kind of have to say her story to say my story, if that makes sense. So this one was truly like, if there's a person that's skeptical, this one was where I was like, holy crap, there's no way, shape, or form that this could have happened in succession of each other, and like, but we were separated. So I had gone up. So it was late at night. It was a Saturday night going into Sunday, and you know, we are religious. We were, you know, going to go to church that next day. Whatever. This is important. I was going upstairs and I was getting a drink of water, and in the kitchen, and I remember filling the drink of water in like the sink or the fridge or something like that, and it was super, super late at night. I used to stay up like very, very late. So it was probably like 1 a.m. or something. I was filling up a drink of water, and I wasn't scared in the house yet. I was kind of just like, this is a little.
And none of us were talking about
No.
anything happening. Like it was all kind
With
of
each other.
one person. Like I didn't know the Brighton thing happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is where I found out something happened to Whitney too. So I'm filling up a drink of water, and this is where you kind of get into like the denial of it all. So I was filling up a drink of water. I remember turning around and seeing a girl that was blonde in a light blue dress standing there again. And it was there and gone within a millisecond. It was one of those things where you're like, I just made that up. I just made it up and I'm going to bed. And that, like, you just, you know, that's that. Or it's almost like
You have to tell yourself that so you can even.
Yes. Because it wasn't like she was physically there. I physically saw her. She was like, it was like, intuitively in a flash, she was there so clear. And I actually had dropped my cup, and I dropped it and I went downstairs, and I was just like, I made that up. Nothing happened. She disappeared, but it's very vivid, like I said, of what she looked like. The reason why this matters is because the next morning we get up and we go to church. And I've asked Whitney this. I asked Whitney this like a month ago. So she was like, yes, this is how it happened. She's like, we get up and go to church, and she didn't go to church, which I was like, why didn't she get to go to church? And mom made me go to church when I was up. And so I remember being like upset that she didn't go. And maybe you remember this, but Whitney had slept in your room that night, and she had problems and she was really scared. So maybe you can tie this in too. And no, pause. I'm sorry, I'm getting this wrong. She did come to church, but she was really tired, and I remember being like, well, I'm tired too. So there was like some sort of like sibling, like I was annoyed at her. I don't even know. And she was sitting there, and you were sitting next to her, and you're like, Brighton, stop being rude. Like she had a hard time last night. And I was like, oh, okay. Like what happened? I actually felt really bad. And then Whitney had traded places and sat next to me, and I was like, hey, are you doing okay? And she was like, yeah, I saw something in my room last night. I was sleeping, and I was talking to this girl as I was sleeping, but then I started waking up, and I was still talking to her, remember it? And she was like at the foot of her bed. Honestly, I don't remember like the details of it.
She says she was in her room, and she was sleeping, and she thought I had come in and sat on her bed. And because the girl that she saw had blonde hair and a blue dress, and her hair was kind of wavy, and so she thought it was me, and she was just talking to her about hair care. Like literally just like.
The interesting part about this is Whitney does talk in her sleep a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was talking in her sleep, but whatever
her eyes were open.
Spirit this was, she probably felt pretty seen in having conversations at night with Whitney or whatever, because Whitney would talk. And so she was talking to her and having conversations. And as you said, she started coming out of
Waking
it and
up.
realizing I'm talking and there's
kept
somebody
blinking.
here listening.
Yeah.
And she kept thinking that she would leave or be gone, and she didn't. She just sat and looked at her, ready to keep talking. And so Whitney like rolled off her bed and just ran past her and ran up to my room, obviously terrified.
Yeah.
And I said, just sleep on my floor. It's okay. And by this point, this had already happened with you. Other weird things were happening. So I said, just sleep by me. Now, the sad part is that Marley, our bulldog, came into our room probably 30 minutes after this happened. And I was trying to get her to calm down. And Whitney was so terrified. And Marley walked up, our bulldog. And you know, like bulldogs' paws, how they get like scratchy and they feel awful. Marley reached up and like pet her face with her thing. And Whitney like blurted, screamed bloody murder, like because she felt this on her
so
face.
scary.
And it was
Marley
just
would just
Marley,
paw
but she's just
you.
like, "Ah," and so she ran out of our room, and then she went and slept on the cheetah couch by the piano, and like it was just the saddest. So
Horrible.
She and I went out and sat by her, and I'm like, it was just Marley, it's okay. So that next day was church. So yeah, she was
Horrified, yeah.
very tired, and it was really sad.
But thank you for adding that detail, because I couldn't remember exactly what had happened, but I knew something happened the same night that I saw someone there.
I mean, the
same
fact you
girl.
dropped your cup.
Yeah, I was like, And then I was like, nothing happened. And I left. I didn't even clean up. I think someone else was like, why did you drop your cup? Like, I was just like, all right, going to bed now.
You have to get really good at denial.
Yeah. But this is what's the crazy. Well, I mean, it's all crazy, but this is another crazy part that happened in church. We're sitting there. She's telling me what happened. As she's telling me, I'm freaking out because I'm like, I saw something too. Like, because she was explaining who it was or, you know, what she looked like. And I was like, no. Like, I saw her the same night. We're talking about it. She heard I had just said, like, no, Whitney, I just saw the same thing. So in the LDS church, which is what I grew up in, what we, you know, they do this thing called testimony meeting. So it's anyone in the audience can go up and say and bear their testimony on the church in the religion. And so this is important because Whitney and I are having this exchange right then and there, like, are you kidding? I saw the same thing, whatever. This guy freaking gets up, and Whitney can attest to this.
I remember this.
Okay, I was like, he gets up and he's like, I'm not even in this ward. I just like have it on my heart. I have a feeling to say this to an audience member, whoever needs to like hear this, that spirits are among us. Whitney and I were like, the timing was so crazy, and it was the most I'm sorry, but it was the most random testimony. Like, I've never heard anything like it. Spirits are among us, like, you know, the veil is thin, and for some people the veil is really thin. So I just feel like the audience members really, like, someone in the audience like really needs to hear this right now. And I don't even remember what happened after that, but I remember I was losing my mind in church. Like, I don't even think we went to like the classes after. I think we left after sacrament, and I was like, but yeah, that's like the end of me, or that's not true. I had little things, but that was like my big ones.
Well, I mean, I think after that point, I would not tell you everything that was happening because you were just trying. Well, I remember another thing that happened to you. I don't know if you've blocked it out. Kinley, why don't you share something?
Yes.
Share Brighton's.
Okay, so should I re-traumatize? Because as a mom, it's like, I got to hear all the things that the kids,
that sucks.
You know, and so I was just trying to process for myself, but them, and like, so
I'm trying to remember, but
this other time you were in your room again, and your room connected to a bathroom, and you were standing there, and you heard somebody go, Brighton.
Oh, yeah.
And so you ran out of the bathroom and into your room, and you heard Brighton, and you ran back into the bathroom.
Yes.
So you were like running from this voice.
Yeah.
And you felt them behind you.
Yes.
But
But she thought it was one of us, I thought.
Yeah,
I
thought it was Ella, I think, because Ella and Hallie were sharing that room that was across from me. Yep, it totally. Was that the same night that the power went out and
No,
Mandy
different night.
That was a different. Oh gosh, guys,
there's a
No,
lot.
I remember that happening.
I remember that too. But see, do I count that as a little thing? I don't know. They're all big
matter.
things. That scared. That horrified me. And then my doors were always like different ways.
I thought something happened with Brighton and Jordan
Yeah.
because they shared a room. After that, Jordan, didn't he move into Brighton's room, or was he already in Brighton's room?
I could actually tell that too. But I want to hear yours because
I mean,
during this timeline, were you having things happen, or was it later? I mean, that because it was 2 years of being there.
2.5. Yeah.
So like, I know me and Whitney were kind of the first ones. Maybe I don't know that we're talking about
the first
it.
time I heard about it was that night.
Was
when
that
I came down to your room? Yeah.
Yeah.
so I don't feel like my room was scary.
Really?
Do you feel like my room was scary?
Yours was awful. Whitney's was the worst.
Whitney's was the worst, and she was
feeling?
across from me, so I was always like, that's terrible that Whitney had
Whitney's
that.
was 10 times worse than yours, but I still feel like I was scared of yours. But also, it wasn't my room, you know?
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I was just scared in that house always. Always scared. And so I spent a lot of time away from home. I was in high school. And so I was like, I'm just going to always be gone. That's a house I always snuck out of. Like, I just didn't want to be home. But I had I know I had more, and I know I've blocked them out. And so I've hoped that as we talk, like, they'll come back. But I have my one that was like, what the hell is happening?
I wonder if I remember this, but keep going.
Okay, so I was home alone, and I was watching Pretty Little Liars.
True. That was such the era of that.
And everyone was gone, and I was like, cool, I'm in the downstairs living room, which is the same living room that you were laying on the couch. I was watching the same TV, doors on one side, closets on the other. And I'm like trying to like put myself back in it to like remember every detail. Because I remember filming a video on Snapchat of like the Pretty Little Liars intro. And I was just chilling. Like, I was like, I'm fine. I'm watching my show. And then all of a sudden I could hear loud high heels. You had gotten home.
Oh.
And it was above me because the whole upstairs is hardwood or tile. And you used to wear heels a lot. And so it was just like, you know the sound of high heels and it's loud and you're right above me and you're walking. And I was like, Mom, like yelling to you just to say hi. And I got no response. And I like was yelling loud. Like, you know, when you're a teenager and you're like, I don't care how crazy I sound. Like screaming your name just so you'd come down and say hi. And the heels constantly walking. And I'm like, hey, she's coming to the stairs.
I like looking behind me.
And we had a spiral staircase too. So it wasn't like straight up. It was like a spiral staircase. And so I'm sitting on the couch. And if you're watching the YouTube version of this, like.
And you should be because our outfits.
True.
Yeah, we didn't even give a disclaimer to the audio listeners.
Oh yeah, happy Halloween. We're wearing costumes.
Yeah. And so if I was sitting on the couch like this, I was kind of laying, but I like sat up to yell for you. And I kept looking over my right shoulder because that's where the spiral staircase was behind me. And I'm in a big sectional too. So it kind of blocks, but you can see the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And got no answer. Oh my gosh. Do I cry? I don't even know. And then all of a sudden I kept looking back to the stairs and like you weren't there, but the heels had stopped. And so I was like, okay, maybe she went in her room or something. You guys, I'm like having a hard time saying it. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I didn't think I'd cry.
It was a lot.
Yeah, I've always said it like to friends, I've just said the story, but like to actually like feel the story is a different thing. And so I like look over and I don't know if I knew what was happening yet for everyone else. I think you kind of kept it to no, I know you said like this happened because I might have even been sitting next to you guys at church. Like I had heard whispers, but I hadn't experienced it. And I'm like gaslighting myself, you know, like, no. So I'm sitting there, kept looking at the stairs. It's silent now. My show's paused. My show hadn't been playing since I started yelling for you. And I hear someone run. And it's like, I looked over at the same time to the stairs right as I heard someone and saw the top of a blonde head run from the stairs to hide behind the couch that I was on.
Oh, shut the
Behind you?
Behind me.
I remember you saying this now.
And I was angry. So I think I did know things were going on because I was so mad that someone would play such a sick joke on me. And I jumped off the couch and flipped behind it and it just yelled. Like I thought it was Ella because Ella was short and Ella had blonde hair. And so I thought one of the little sisters was scaring me on purpose. And I've never yelled at Ella. And I fully turned and was like, what are you doing? And there was no one there. And I was so scared and horrified. And I realized you weren't home. I was home alone. Had heard high heels, like all the things. And you hadn't told me about like it being a specific type of person. But when I told you what I saw, heard the heels, saw the blonde hair, then you're like, you're not the only one that's seen that. Mm-hmm. And I went straight from the couch and I ran out the doors and I left. And I didn't even have anywhere to go. I just remember being like, can I even get off this couch right now to run out the door? And I did. And that's all I remember.
Gosh, that's awful.
So yeah, coming home as a teenager would be hard when you had a driver's license. It's like, why would you want to come home? And you were gone a lot. And it was
probably why I stayed with my boyfriends as much as I did. Yeah, cool boyfriends. But also I was like, I don't want to go home. Oh, I have another memory.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so no, I'll save it for when we moved.
Okay. I have so many little ones, but I'm glad. So when do you think that was in terms of like Whitney and I saw that, Mom's talking about it, experiencing it. Do you feel like that was the same?
It was
kind of time frame or like a few months later?
I'd say a few weeks. I wouldn't say a few months.
Yeah.
It was a few weeks later. Like I knew whispers of things happening and the house felt weird, but that was like I saw something for myself. And it freaked me out to the point where I like can't even gaslight myself about it. Mm-hmm. To like get up and scream and there be no one there. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But also like your closet was, I had feelings in the house. Like I'd go in your closet and I was like, oh my gosh. And one time I was laying in Mom's bed upstairs. And this is
your room too.
This is months into it. Okay. Like we all know there's issues, but we're all trying to gaslight ourselves because we're trying to like survive. And I was taking a nap in your bed because I was too scared to take a nap downstairs, and I had locked your balcony door, which I know this happened multiple times, and I locked your bedroom door just so I could sleep. And I was asleep, and all of a sudden, you had a double door to your room. It was such a weird room, but you had a double door, and our bulldog used to come and push its face against the door to come in.
I forgot.
And I was like falling asleep, and then you hear it. It's like a bang, kind of, and the door moves, and I see it. And I'm like, no. And then it happens again and again, 3 times. And I'm like, oh my gosh, fine. I'm going to go open the door. And then there was no one there, no dog. And I was like, okay, I'm going to shut the door. I'm going to lock it, make sure both doors are locked. And I went and laid down, and I tried to sleep. And then I woke up, and the balcony door was wide open. And I know that this happened to multiple people. Went, shut it, locked it, laid back down. And no, I think that was it. I think that was it. It was a one-time thing.
I have a quick story like that in your room too, which I'm like, might as well throw it in because I have no idea where it was.
And I know Mom has so many.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
to comment on.
So many. But I know this one's like so small, so I'm like, might as well say it when you're saying it. But I would have friends over a lot. And I think that's kind of my way of coping, was like trying to have like friends over.
Lucky friends.
I know. I'm like, true. I'm like, come over to my haunted house. Honestly, when everyone was there, it never felt like, I mean, it was okay, you know?
Well, and the thing is it was so spread out. So like we're kind of making it sound like, and then this and then this and this, but it was over 2.5 years. So like we would go a month, 2 months.
True. Just feeling like,
oh no, it didn't really happen. And then something would happen. And then we'd go like another few weeks, and then it would be a month. So it was just like just enough spread out that you're like, no.
And we also weren't all telling each other everything.
Yeah.
Especially in the beginning, it was like, we really were keeping it to ourselves. You were hearing, but like
everything.
No one else really knew that everyone else was experiencing things. And when we did find out, then it was like, oh my gosh.
And just to put in there, I think this is a good time. Like if I were listening to this story as a listener on a podcast, I'd be like, why didn't you move? So the situation was that we had moved out of a house that we were selling, and we needed to remodel it before we were ready to sell it. So it took like almost a year to remodel it, and then it took time to sell it, and it was on the market for a while. And then we're also paying rent for this other house. So we're paying mortgage and rent, and we were building our business at the beginning. Like we didn't have money to pay for a third place.
Rental.
And like we were locked into this thing. We'd have to pay money to leave. And then to pay for another one, that would be 3 mortgages. Like we couldn't do it. And so I kept being like, okay, we'll just make it till the end of our lease. We'll just make it till the end. So,
and that's the logical side. Like even emotionally, it's like, is it really like it's happening?
Yeah, because you feel crazy. Like I have to move.
Yeah, day-to-day life.
And I would tell John, I'm like, I don't know, like this happened. And he believes me. He's good at believing me, but he never felt it for himself until later.
That's what I just have to say this, and obviously nothing to do with Dad, and we're talking about horror movies in general. It's always the man that just never believes the wife and it will be something like The Conjuring, where it's like they're seeing demons run around, and then the man's like, no.
But I feel like Dad believed us. But
Yeah.
he was trying to be the grounding of the whole situation.
He's trying to keep it calm and to figure out how do I pay for.
Yeah, how do I pay? Yeah, and totally understandable. He was nothing as bad as like the men in the horror movies that are like gaslighting their wife, and then they get possessed or something. Yeah, we love that. But anyways,
Luckily nobody did that.
No.
Okay,
but
what was
truly.
your little story you were gonna say? Because I know if the listener's hanging on their seat.
Oh, this one was little. I mean, there's so many little ones that I think will just pop up, but this one's about the balcony thing. I remember one time, this was actually 2 times. One time I was with my friends, we were out playing in the backyard, and I look up and I had heard a bang and the balcony door just opened. Or it was like open. I was like, the freak? Everyone was gone. It was just like me and like a couple friends hanging out there.
And just there is a little disclaimer for this. This balcony door lock, you had to push hard to turn the lock. It's not like it just kind of, it didn't shut all the way, or
no, it was like an old
it was a
rusty deadbolt,
and it was like you had to turn it hard to even get it to lock. So, and this happened all the time. So when you're saying it just opened, it's
not like you just didn't push it shut.
It's a big deal
Sometimes, yeah, and like it was locked the entire time when everyone left, and then all of a sudden there was a bang and it was like open. And so I was like, oh, let me go see if my mom's inside. Maybe this was the same time. I can't remember. But was like, let me go see if my mom's inside or someone came home. And then like no one was home. And then I made my friends come with me because I was like, no one's home. And so we all were like freaked out and like, the heck, that was weird. And then another time that happened, but I think I was in the house and I had tried to find you and Dad or something. I think you guys had left. And the doors, I think it was with friends again this time because I was scared and I didn't want to go alone. So like I made my friends come with me into your room and I would have never like usually done that. But I was like, no, can you please come with me? I think the balcony door's open again. Like that's so weird. I just don't want to go in there alone to shut it. And so I can't even remember what friends it was, but I remember I was like with friends and we opened the door and this is where I was like,
The door to my bedroom? Or?
yes, the door to your bedroom. And I think, which maybe we can cut this out. I don't know. I think Dad had an experience like this. And I feel like you told me this later on. So if he wants this or not, we can cut it out. But I had heard static and I was like, what the heck is happening? The TV wasn't on.
Mm.
And there was static in his headphones that connected to the damn TV. And it was like literally in like poltergeist.
And that's not the only time that happened.
That's why I was like, I'm pretty sure you told me that had happened before. Yeah. So I remember there was static on, and it was loud as hell. Like I could hear it through the headphones, not even putting them on. And my friends and I swear we were like, I heard whispers. Honestly, I can't remember if we did or not. I remember thinking I thought I did for a second, but it was just weird enough that like the headphones were on, the TV wasn't on. So why are the headphones on listening to the TV? Because they were the ones that would connect to the TV if I didn't say that. And then the balcony doors were open again. And I remember being like, that's not supposed to happen.
This is a very repetitive. It's interesting because I don't remember those things that happening to you with the balcony door, but that did happen all the time. And that's why I remember very clearly one night, like sleeping, snowy outside.
Yeah.
And like I started feeling cold and I woke up, it's the middle of the night and the door's open and snow is blowing into my room. So it was windy and I was like, okay, the wind maybe blew it open, whatever. So I get up, go to the bathroom, shut the door, deadbolt it, right? Which is a strong deadbolt. I fall back asleep and all of a sudden I wake up again, the door opens and the snow goes blowing in again. Like after
Was Dad there?
he's asleep.
Oh.
but the deadbolt unlocked and click, and the snow just comes blowing in again. And I was freaked out. The first time, not so much. The second time, I was like, I had just woke up. I went to the bathroom. I was definitely awake.
Creepy.
Yeah.
Your closet, your bathroom was creepy.
Yeah, why did it
It's like I can
felt.
literally name the places in the house that were like Whitney's room, Ella's room was just weird,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then your freaking closet.
Whitney's room was so bad that we would used to steal clothes from each other, and that was like a huge fight we would have, and she would always steal clothes from me, and I would then return the favor and steal clothes from her because I was pissed. It was so bad that I literally wouldn't steal
too.
clothes in her room
too.
because I wouldn't want to go in there. And so I'd wait till Maria washed them upstairs and I'd steal clothes from there.
I can literally like name the amount of times I went in her room when we lived in that house.
Yeah.
And she would like call me in, Kinley, come here. And I'd be like, come show me. Like, I'm not going in your room.
Okay, I remember something else in your room that you haven't said anything about.
I wonder if it's the same thing, but you say.
Ugh.
Well, I don't know, just wonder, like, here's where I go, do I want to
Yeah,
bring
tell
things up?
me. Yeah.
So in your room, and your room fell off to me too, it all did, but you had a mirror
Yes.
that was
Thank
tall,
you.
and it was the one, it was oval with the brown
It was your
around
old
it.
one that you had.
And it would tip back and forth, and it was in the corner by your window. And you told me, and I might get this kind of wrong, but you told me that you were sitting there and you saw something out of the corner of your eye,
Oh, I forgot.
and you looked over
Behind
and you
it.
saw somebody hiding behind the mirror,
It
and it kind of tipped, like bumped the mirror a little bit, and then it scared you.
Because it wasn't a somebody, it was a big black.
Yeah, you told me
something.
that.
Yeah,
That
so
it wasn't.
I don't remember other than that, just that the mirror and something was hiding behind it, and that scared you really bad. But
Well, I had night terrors in that room every night, so bad. Couldn't even get out of them. Like in our religion I grew up in, they would say like there are things you can do in prayer or in your dreams to get out of them, and like use the power of like the spirit, and I would do them, and I remember being told that doesn't work here, like in my dream. Which now looking back, I'm like, yeah, it's probably because of the room. It's probably because of the house I was staying in. It wasn't me. And I've always been like, why am I always having these crazy spiritual satanic dreams? But it was probably the house I was living in.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have another one you want to share?
No, you're good.
I mean, Jordan, so another one when Jordan was in your room.
Yeah, I remember this vividly.
Yeah.
So were you there? Because I remember him, I don't remember if you were there or not, but I remember Etone, should I say names? Like, Etone was there and we were upstairs and everybody, it was just Jordan downstairs. Excuse me.
I was sleeping with him, or I was with him. Yeah.
I'm curious if this is the same thing you're going to say.
Maybe it's not.
Because I remember him being alone, so it could have been something different. And this is where I'm like, this got so twisted because as a mom, I look back at how I dealt with things and I'm like, would I do that again? Why did I do that? You know, and I feel like I was in survival mode too, not knowing what to do. But Jordan came up and everybody else was hanging out in the main kind of room when you walk in.
Oh no, this is different.
And Jordan came up.
Do you need water?
Maybe. My throat chakra.
I have no water.
Your mom.
Nobody else was in the house. Thank you. Thanks for the dragon dance.
Okay.
Oh, bad. Oh my gosh.
Okay, these mics seem really sturdy, so.
Hold on. Should I keep going? Oh, wait.
Yeah, just keep. Maybe wait 1 second.
Here.
Just keep the water by you. I don't need it.
Thank you. I don't know why I'm all of a sudden coughing. So Jordan came up and he was like, let me guess how old he was.
Young.
5, I want to say. I could be wrong, but about that. And he came up and he said, Mom, and we were all sitting there, and you were there. I don't know if you remember this. Etone was there and somebody else was there.
Probably Esteban.
And he said, there's a woman that's all black and she's floating in the corner of my room. Okay, he was 5. And
That's my room.
yeah, that was Brighton's room. And she has long black hair and she's up in the corner and she keeps saying my name, Mom, I can't sleep. And he said, I keep hearing buzzing, Mom, in my head. And she keeps saying my name, Mom, I don't know what to do. I can't sleep. And like, we all just kind of looked at each other like, what
I think the boys went downstairs to check.
Okay, because I'm like, what did I do? Because I'm like, how sad.
Jordan was trying to take a nap.
Yeah.
He was in his little car bed. And I'm pretty sure that Etone and Esteban were like,
let's go check.
let's go
because
protect
poor
them.
kid.
Yeah. And of course we didn't see anything.
Yeah. But I'm just
I
like,
remember that though. I totally wouldn't have, but I remember him saying the buzzing. Like
the buzzing.
Yeah, the
in his
buzzing.
head.
Yep, I remember that.
And to hear a little 5-year-old kid explain it, it's
I don't know if
like,
he was 5.
yeah.
well, we lived in the other. I don't know. We'd have to think about it. But
It's true. He was
young.
so young, though. How would
So
he know
little.
that something's floating? Like,
No,
He is not in the loop of
he doesn't know everything that's
no,
happening.
why would we tell a 5-year-old boy? Yeah.
No.
Can I tell the other
Yeah,
story that happened?
Yeah.
Because that,
This
I
is
can't.
the one that I was thinking of. I'm like, something happened with you and Jordan.
Yeah. This, which is funny because it's almost like at the time I thought, okay, so this is what's kind of hard is, for those who don't know, my little brother's adopted, and so that sometimes can come with things of its own and trauma of its own, and like I just want to say this to say, like, I kind of thought this was more him dealing with other things than it was this, but then with everything else that happened, I'm like, oh no. And what he said to you, I was like, I changed my mind later and was like, oh no, like this is something to do with the house and the room.
Sense.
Yes, I wanted it to make sense.
all
I
do.
think is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Is like, I was like, oh, maybe he just was struggling, and he was struggling, but so anyways, we had shared a room, and honestly, when I look back at it, I'm like, it was really fun, like sharing a room with my little brother, and I'm sure some people would be like, oh, that's not that fun. No, it was fun. He was a cutie, and I was again in that like kind of junior high stage. I was staying up super late. I didn't want to go to bed, all this stuff, so I was up really, really late. It was like 3 a.m. or something like that, and I was on my phone. I think I was like watching YouTube. I can't remember what I was doing. And he was asleep in his little car bed. I totally remember that little car bed. and he would have night terrors, and this wasn't the only time that he would have like problems sleeping. I mean, for years, you know, he struggled with sleeping in general and wanting to sleep certain places and whatnot, but this one was different, at least for me, because usually what would happen is he would like start to like almost whimper in a way, or like, oh no, you know, and like move around and whatnot. And so I would always wake him up. Like almost, it was like every other night I would wake him up and just be like, it's okay. And then he'd be like, oh, okay. Like usually would just have like a nightmare, and then he would go back to bed. And this time he was freaking out. He started freaking out and was like, no, get away from me. He like sat up while he was like still kind of sleeping, but like awake, and was like pointing at something. Not me. I'm sitting in my bed looking at him like, oh, what is happening right now? And he was like, get away from me. And so I was like, oh gosh, okay. So then poor guy, like I come to try and help him, and then he gets scared of me, and he's pushing me away, like freaking out, like kicking me, get away from me, get away from me. And so finally I like wake him up, but I'm like terrified at that point. And so I grab him, and then I go out to the living room that we were all talking about. And he was just like bawling his
I
eyes
remember
out.
coming in at that moment.
Yeah, he's bawling his eyes out. I was just like holding him. I was like, it's okay. You're fine. And then, yeah, I think he like woke you up or whatever, and it was
I
super
remember
late.
screaming,
Yeah,
just screaming.
it was so sad. And then I think it was like 30 minutes to an hour, and then we all like kind of got tired again, like, and went back to bed, and he was okay. But that one was just, I remember vividly that one was different than like his other kind of just struggles of like with sleeping, that I was like, oh, nice, love that.
Okay, what else, Mom? How do you feel?
What other things? Well,
Do you have stories coming back to you?
I mean, I have other things that happened, but for a long time now, I've wanted to write about all of this just because it is part of our family's history. And every time I almost start, I can't. Like, I feel like it's bringing back just a lot of emotion that as a mom, I just felt bad, you know. Like, once again, like, why do you cry about this? But if you're living it and it's real, it's terrifying, and you feel like you want to protect your family and you don't know how to protect your family. Yeah. I mean, I feel like if you want to keep telling all the things that happened, we can, and then we can talk about kind of what we did to try to help it. But
It almost was like in timeline though. Like, when did you
It
start
really-
maybe getting help, or
it
like
really was. I mean, it just, like we said, it spread out. There's one time that Whitney talks about being in the office, which to me was one of the most unnerving places of the house.
Yeah.
Really?
And
Oh,
she
yeah.
was wrapped up in a blanket and sleeping in there because she didn't dare to sleep in her room. So she was in the office, and in her dead sleep, something pulled the blanket from behind her so hard that it unraveled her, and she did a somersault out of the blanket.
what?
And she looked up and nothing's there. So like it started crossing lines it did cross.
I mean, toys were flying when kids were playing with them.
Yeah. So like it did get worse. Another time.
Didn't that happen? Hallie was like playing with a toy with the kids in the basement, and we were all upstairs. Do you remember that?
Yeah. The toys kind of started like, not that they were moving like
Not like across
poltergeist,
the room. Yeah.
but like almost like one of the toys did something weird, and she was little too. She was only like, what, 8? I don't even know, thinking back to
They're
the age.
younger.
So I'm trying to think of just the main ones I would share before we kind of move to the next phase of what we did. But one time I told the one with the door flying open, but another time is the middle of the night, and Dad and I had tried to fix the headphones that connect to the TV because a lot of times he can't fall asleep as soon as I do, and so he has the connector thing. We had tried to fix it so many times it would never get power, and we had turned off the TV this night and gone to sleep, and the headphones were unplugged, and intentionally. Because we're just like, it's not working, and then they're like, whatever. So we unplugged them, kind of left it there, and in the middle of the night, the TV just went on full blast out of nowhere, and like the headphones and everything turned on. Headphones weren't plugged in, and there was no reason for the TV to turn on. Like I remember looking at the remote controls being like, oh, I just rolled over and bumped it or whatever. Like, no, there's no, it just out of the blue, like turns on.
Was Dad like, holy
Once again, it was like he was kind of asleep and I turn off the TV and like tell him the next day.
I think he was a little like, okay. Like there were moments that started happening like that where he was like, oh crap.
Yeah.
Crap,
And
crap.
I can't even remember. He may have kind of woken up kind of like, and I'm like, the TV turned on. Because by this point I was telling him all these things the kids were saying. And we were kind of like, what do we do?
Yeah.
You know? I'm trying, I know there's ones that I'm like blocking out because, but, and maybe more will come back to me like as we keep talking, but I remember being like, okay, I have to do something and we can't move. So what do we do? And I remember even asking the realtor and saying that we rented from and saying, have you had complaints about this house? Because this is what's happening. And she's like, no, like nothing, you know, of course she's going to say, you know, no, whether there is or not, whatever. I'm like, hey, I remember we had the house blessed by somebody in our church, came and blessed it. And I felt like, okay, that will help, you know? And I feel like it did help for a time.
I think as a kid, it was cool to have you guys acknowledge and then be like, okay, this is a real thing. And then to take,
We're going to take action.
yeah, we're going to take action to like make it feel better and safer. Like, I feel like that actually, the intention behind it too was like, it was good. At least for me, that's how I felt. It was like, oh.
It was actually a really hard moment for me.
Mm-hmm.
Were you done? Sorry.
No, I mean, yeah, I think it was mixed emotions, but yeah.
Which I'm like, okay, I want to say this intentionally. But I remember asking the people who came to bless the house, which I was grateful we were getting help.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is the answer. This is going to help. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad they're here. And I had held in my heart a question that I was going to ask them because I'm like, I can't get out of my nightmares. And I tried the thing and it didn't work. So I asked them about the thing that I was told to do and it didn't work. And I was like, what do I do? And they ignored me. Like, I point blank asked. And they're like, well, and they didn't have an answer.
Didn't have an answer, yeah.
They didn't have an answer. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
because
how
you
do
kind
I-
of reach
these
this place of
leaders-
not knowing what to do, right? You do what you can do, and
And they don't know what to tell me. And
Mhm.
I'm trying to do everything I'm told and it's still happening. So it was a really hard moment for me. I'm glad it helped the house, though. I just remember leaving like angry. Like, oh crap, I can't get out of my nightmare.
feeling
still.
helpless.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it is a feeling of helplessness. I feel like it did help for a time. I just thought of something else that happened and I forgot again. But
I have another thing that happened
Yeah,
too,
go
but
ahead.
I want you to remember.
I mean, I kind of feel like let's get it even for family history memory, even for us to try to remember all these things. I think it's good.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah, I like want you to take your time because if you
That's
want to
what I
write
was
about it,
saying,
we can
too.
have the transcription of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, so cut me off if you remember what you were going to say is what I was saying. This is actually funny because thinking back to yours about the heels, I remember another one, and I feel like this happened multiple times, and I almost feel like this happened once with you, but I can think of 2 times specifically. One, I was downstairs or something, and again, I like feel like I didn't go on a lot of trips with you guys, or I don't know, I was like home alone a decent amount, and like that by my choice. And I remember hearing fighting, and I thought you and Dad were really fighting.
You just brought up the one I was gonna say. Actually.
Oh, really?
This is a big issue. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I remember hearing you and Dad screaming, like, it wasn't just like, I mean, yeah, married couples like will fight, whatever. And especially during like something like this, like I was like, okay, I don't blame you if you're fighting, but no, it was like screaming at each other, like so upset, whatever. And I remember being like, oh damn, it's getting so intense. Like, I'm gonna go up there and see what is wrong, because like it sounded, I'm sorry, it sounded like a domestic like problem. And so I remember going up, and then it was silent, and then you had your double doors, and I remember peeking my head to listen to be like, okay, maybe they thought they were being too loud. And then it was so silent, nobody talked, and you guys were asleep, and it had been probably like 2 a.m. And I was like, either they heard me come up, so they like were like tried to shush each other, But I stayed there for a while, like with my ear pressed against your door.
So this
and I
happened
couldn't hear.
often.
Yeah, because I have the same memory.
We were
kids-
together another time and then went upstairs and
Okay.
tried to hear.
It's like, am I like living through someone else, or is it just like I've blocked it out?
No, several kids said that to me. Like, what are you and dad fighting about? And we're like, and not that we didn't ever disagree on anything, but we literally weren't fighting. And that happened often where it's like, what are the kids hearing downstairs about screaming, fighting? They think it's us. And then we aren't even like fighting or
It was
yelling
like
or anything.
yelling match. Like, I don't think I've ever since that house ever heard you guys talk like that.
Yeah. Well, and I have to say that the person that lived in the house after us, I asked her if she had noticed anything, and she said the kids, no joke, the kids always come to us and ask why we're screaming and yelling at each other when we're not, which is interesting to me.
Wait, who
I don't
who
wanna
was
say
that?
whose.
Oh no, I know, but who
The
did
person who moved in after us.
The person who rented it after us said, and I asked her, and that was the one thing she said, you know, they only lived there for like 6 months, not too long.
I helped her move in actually.
And she, that was very clearly, she said, and she was very open. I said, this is going to sound so weird, but I just have to ask, have you noticed anything? And that's the one thing that she said, come to think of it, like the thing that is really weird about that house is the kids are always asking us while we're screaming at each other, and
Why
we're
did
not.
you move out?
What the freak?
They were always planning to like move and to build or whatever. I can't remember why, but that's
That's
anyway,
actually wild
interesting.
that she
Yeah.
specifically said that.
Yeah. And I didn't say anything to her about any of it. Like, so I thought that was interesting.
It's so weird because I like keep expecting more stories to come up, and I almost have this block. Like after going into one, I'm like,
Well, I have one with all of us,
okay, I'm like,
but it wasn't.
if you have any of me,
anything
tell
scary.
me too.
Okay. I
This
actually
reminded me of The Haunting of Hill House. Like, we could write our own movie script about all this.
Same
know.
like the movie I will not watch
Yeah.
because it had scary moments because of it.
Yeah.
That we mentioned at the beginning. Like it's the same storyline.
Of which one?
The Conjuring.
Oh, I know. There are things from that I watched. I was like, oh, I couldn't watch the rest of them after I
like
watched
all the
first.
sisters and yeah.
I could, yeah. I actually, funny enough, I watched that for the first time when I was 17 when you had moved houses with a boyfriend on Halloween. I slept with you that night. I don't know if you remember that. I slept with you while I was 17 years old because I was like, I should not have watched that.
Yeah,
That
which-
was a bad idea.
Side note, like those movies carry an energy and you're inviting that energy into your home when you watch them. And like we didn't even watch scary movies in that house. I didn't even dare.
No,
I did.
I didn't forever.
Like you did.
Really?
Yeah, I did. I was in Hallie's phase where she just like,
Like,
Where-
you're curious about
yeah,
it. It's
where I would
funny.
like solo watch scary shows. I don't know. I don't know why I did that. I
did in
can't
the
watch it now, so.
I did in the house prior though when I
Yeah.
was in that same age. But
Yeah,
then
it's
you
like the
start to
age of-
realize
yeah.
that it changes the feeling of the
really
home.
messes you up.
Yeah.
No, but it's true. The one. So funny enough, I actually don't even think this is like paranormal, but it wasn't. I don't know. I want your guys' opinions. When the power went out,
Oh.
we lost our ever-loving
Because
mind.
by that point, we were like all crazy, right?
I remember where I was, but I acted like it was World War II, grabbing the kids, running
It was
upstairs.
so
Like
sad.
I
though.
vividly remember. So and this was so
The
scary.
transformer went out, like,
Yeah.
but there was a few kids in the bath.
I grabbed
downstairs.
them, and Ella and I were like, "Come on!"
Mandy
Like, we
was
were,
there
like,
that
so
night.
Scared. Yeah.
I think somebody was telling Mandy.
No,
Right,
I
during
think
that
it's
time.
Two different stories. No,
No,
okay,
Mandy was
so
there. She was finding it out as
We
the
were up
power
in the
went out.
kitchen. We
Yeah.
were up in the kitchen telling Mandy, and we're like,
Yes.
we don't talk about it, but we'll tell you. And then as we were talking about it, the power went out. And
And the kids were downstairs. Yeah. So
Everybody started screaming.
this is why I started screaming at first, because till this day, this actually still scared me. But I genuinely at this moment think it was like my eyes and my mind, like just being so scared. Like I actually don't think this was paranormal, but I'm sitting listening to the kids in the bath. I'm in my bathroom looking at the mirror
Oh, that's
so close,
right.
doing my mascara. And then the power went out and I had like saw my eyes and then it was just pitch black. I lost my mind.
Yeah.
I literally
and it
lost
was
my shit.
nighttime, right?
Yeah. Because we all bunked in your room.
Yeah, so I remember calling the neighbors, being like, "Is this our house thing or is this a neighborhood
Yeah.
thing?" And it was a neighborhood thing.
We were
but
convinced it was
scared
just
us.
our house
Yeah,
though.
well, because of everything that happened, we just thought it was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, here's the next thing."
Yeah. Oh gosh, but that was one that was more funny to me now, but it really did scare me so bad in the moment. Like it was not good.
I have one story that I can remember, and I always like gaslit the people who told me, which is funny because it's probably very real. Who knows? Honestly, who knows? But I had invited my not yet boyfriend / ex-husband. Is that too whatever? Him and some friends over to the new house. Well, we haven't really got to moving, but I was still hanging out at the old house. And
Oh, I was like, wait, the new
I was still hanging out at the old house. I want to like finish sharing stories before I really go into like these things, but I'll say this story. So the family's not there. It's just me and teenage friends. Okay, I'm like 17, and we're in the office, and I don't know what we're doing. We're just kind of hanging out, and I was kind of telling them like, yeah, this house is a little creepy, and they were like, no way, that's so cool, whatever, all these things. So we're like, there's probably like 6 people in the room, and 4 of us are like sitting in a circle talking, and 2 people are in the back corner trying to make scary things happen.
Oh,
and I'm like, you
gosh.
guys are whatever. And then all of a sudden they just start screaming, and they were like talking into the vent saying, give us a sign, give us a sign. Tell us
Stop.
if
What
there's-"
idiots.
I know. I know. I was going to say that, but I was like, is that too mean? Yeah. And they're like talking into the vent, asking for a sign. And then it whispered. This is their story. Okay. It whispered, and it's 2 men. There were 2 boys. And they just started screaming. And I was like, bull crap, bull crap. But I also think I was just like, I don't want it to be real.
Yeah.
We're in the house alone. Too much has happened. You're making it up. But who knows?
Well, they whispered and they said, give us a sign. And then what?
And then they heard they were talking into it, and then they heard a whisper back, is what
Oh.
they said.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't me.
Gosh.
It wasn't me, but it was in the office. And I can't help but wonder, but I've always just been like, liars.
Yeah.
They're lying. Everything they're
Which
saying
is
a
funny
lie.
that you would second guess it after everything. But I mean, they were trying.
They were trying,
being
so I'm
trying
like,
to
"You
scare.
dumb,
Yeah.
you have no idea what you're doing."
Yeah.
No
like,
idea.
don't. No, that's hard. I know. I'm trying to think of anything else. Oh, this is actually funny. There were so many chaotic things happening during that time. Do you guys remember when like the masked people came into our backyard, and they left masks in our backyard? Yeah. Do you remember that? Freaking scary. So this is what happened. Is there was like teenage boys walking around the neighborhood and like trying to scare people. It might have even been during kind of Halloween, like maybe October or something. And what was it? It was like Ella was in her room, and she was like, there was people outside of my window. So I actually thought it was like a haunting thing at first, and then we found out no, there was like teenage boys
right.
walking through the backyard, and they had like left masks out. And
I mean,
was
they're
like,
probably like, they know there's a whole bunch of girls in the house. Like, they're probably just like,
Yeah.
who lives here? And,
Yeah.
poor Ella though. She said they were like
Yeah.
looking in her window.
Oh.
Yeah, it was.
I don't even remember
Who
this.
knows? It might not even be teenage boys. Who knows?
I know it was, but it was like one day I think, and then they had like left a mask or something, and I found it. It was weird. It was freaking weird.
Do you have a
That's
good
weird.
memory for being as young as you were? I think I
Thanks.
genuinely went to block it out, kind of like you.
Mhm.
Because I've had conversations with like Whitney about it, and like when I start going, it's like, oh yeah, and this, oh yeah, and that. But
I
feel
almost
impressed.
want to, like, if we're really trying to record it all, I almost want to call Ella really quick and just
Yeah, why
ask
not?
if there's anything. Camille and Mandy remember things that I don't. They're
Yeah.
2
Oh my
people that I would
gosh.
talk to about it.
Shoot, we should have had them like even type in like.
I'm just gonna call Ella
Remember
right
when
here,
you
right now.
said?
I was just telling Brighton like. Well, I was gonna say how scary the backyard was. Even coming home, I was like, seeing the downstairs doors. It
Yeah.
wasn't the backyard.
I say the backyard was cool, but it was like.
It was the
the-
downstairs doors that I was always scared of. But I would run through that house
Mm-hmm.
and avoid every corner.
Isn't that funny?
Always.
I thought that was like normal in a
Yeah.
way, where I was like, oh, I'm just a scared little kid.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm scared of the dark. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm scared of
Well,
being home alone.
remember the room that had mirrors as a ceiling? One of the rooms in the house.
Yeah, that
It
was
was
Ella and
above the-
Hallie's.
No, it was.
No, it was
the
above the piano room. Piano.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, sorry. Ella and Hallie's had a stained glass window,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Whitney, you're on the podcast right now, and we're just talking about our last house that we lived in and all the stories, and we did share your one, like
2
two, which we shared the one about on the bed, and then what was the other one?
in the office.
and then the one in the office. Do you have any other, like, off the top of your head?
Honestly, I've kind of blocked out.
That's what
a
we
lot 'cause
keep
it was a
saying.
little sketch, but
That's why we're calling you, because we also did.
Yeah, I mean, like, there were bad feelings, bad spirits that would sit by my head, and it would go below my feet on the bed if someone, like, were to sat by your head.
Wait, what
And
do
then
you
vice versa.
what do you mean?
Like, when I'd go to bed at night, I could feel, like, a shift in the room, something come in, and then all of a sudden, like, I was wide awake. I wasn't, like, waking up, and, like, sit by my head, and my head would go down as if someone were to sit by your head on a bed.
Oh.
Ew.
So I could, like, see the blanket in front of me go up because my head was
Yeah.
physically moving down. And then same thing, like, if it was by my feet, I could see my legs going down. There was a lot of other ones, but
Whitney, I told the one how you're in the office and something yanked your blanket and it flipped you out of the blanket. They pulled so hard, right?
it didn't flip me out, but it, like, turned me over to my other side.
Oh.
So I was, like,
That's
always
insane.
on my left side, wide awake. I was just, like, sitting there kind of, like, opening my eyes because I was already scared to be sleeping. So I went into that room, and then it, like, pulled the blanket to the other side. So then I flipped to my right shoulder when I was on my left. Like, I didn't move it. The blanket pulled me over.
If you saw her.
Do you feel like your
Faces.
room was one of, like, the heaviest places in the house?
I mean, I just felt like so much activity was happening. I only slept like 3 to 4 hours a night sophomore year. So I don't know if it's because I was also really spiritual that time of, like, LDS spirituality. So I was, like, super, super sensitive, and I didn't have a lot of friends 10th grade. So everything was just so sensitive to me. So I don't know if it was, like, drawn because I was so sensitive. I don't know.
That makes sense. Like intuitive.
And then we told your story about how you woke up and you were talking to the girl. And I remember you running up to my room. Did you kind of just run past her?
Well, like, when I noticed she was there, and I, like, this is so funny. This is being recorded.
I know. And are you on a bike ride?
Yeah. I'm on speaker on a bike ride
Sorry.
in the sunshine with Ella.
Oh, we need to talk to Ella next.
Yeah.
So this is good.
Oh, great.
Tell her to be thinking.
Wait, a spider went in my shoe? What was the question? Did I go past her?
Did you just run past
Or did she
her?
like disappear? Or
Well, so I saw her, and she noticed I saw her. We both noticed each other, and then I gasped, and she just, like, looked at me with wide eyes and then slowly disappeared. And then I rolled off the bed, said a prayer, like a quick 1 second, and then ran. So, like, it was before she went away.
But she was shocked you, like,
Saw her.
saw
Well,
her.
I was talking to her.
Yeah.
I was talking to her in my sleep, and then I was talking out of my sleep, and it woke me up. And as I was finishing talking, she was still responding.
Mm-hmm.
that's insane. And you said it was hair care you were talking about? Or what was it?
Yeah, it was like hair care because she had
Long hair.
Because it was like she's a silhouette, and like I knew she had long blonde hair,
Yes.
but I'm like, I don't know if I saw that or I was visualizing that because I was in and out of it. But she had long hair, and when I could fully see her, it was like silhouette, right? So it's like, how would I really know it was blonde? But I
So you're
did.
telling us we're still worried about our hair after we're like all on the other side.
Yeah, she was little too. I would say she's like 8.
Oh, that's
You
interesting.
know what's weird is like I saw her. I don't know if I saw her before, but I saw a little 8-year-old that was in a white dress with blonde hair at Ivy Hall one time in my peripheral, and very quick. And so when that happened, I always was like, "Is that attached to something I've seen before?" I don't
Okay,
know.
well, this whole podcast episode, I've been thinking of a time I was laying on the couch at the house prior to moving into that house, probably right before, and I was sleeping on the couch, and I opened my eyes, and there was a little girl in a dress, blonde hair, standing outside the door to the backyard. I was at Lizzie's house,
Weird.
and through the whole episode, I've been like, I wonder, but like,
interesting.
you never know.
Weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it was right before we moved, too.
Is there anything else, Whitney, that like main story you would share before you give it to Ella?
I wish I knew this was happening because I could probably have come up with it.
That's
Yeah.
how we feel too, though. We
Like,
can't remember.
remembered. Oh, I saw like an orb.
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
Where was it?
So it was when I was getting ready to go to Tori Campbell's funeral from Mountain View. And in my room, obviously, I'm like, I know stuff's happening in here. Like, is it possible to connect with her? So I was doing makeup in the mirror, and then I would see it. I saw like a split second on my head, and disappeared.
Wow.
So that happened, I don't know.
Does Ella have any too while you think?
Here, please take over. I was behind her on the bike, so I didn't hear the first initial question.
You're actually on our podcast right now, on the microphone. So we're just sharing the things that we remember because we want it even for our own like history, family history. But
Yeah.
so then we started thinking, gosh, everybody has their own stuff. So we didn't want to talk for you. So if there's anything you want to kind of record.
I remember being so young, and so I was just kind of stayed out of most of it. Like, I wasn't aware during the time, but I did have my own experiences that were just kind of like, oh, scary or weird or whatever. I say the first one, we had moved in recently. Hallie and I shared the room downstairs across from Brighton and Jordan, and I had to go to the bathroom, but the plumbing in the entire house was so messed up. And so my bathroom didn't work. Brighton's door was locked. And the closest bathroom was all the way up the stairs, across the house, the kitchen, and by the garage. And so I went up the stairs in the middle of the night, and I was like wide awake. And when I passed the front door, somebody was looking through the door, like with cupped hands. So I don't know if that was an actual person or not.
Probably Kinley after she snuck out trying to get back in.
Not through the front door.
Yeah, not through the front
So
door.
there's just the front door, and then there's two long windows on either side of the door. And it was like, they were like, I just saw the silhouette of someone like looking through the window. And I looked at them and looked straight as I was walking up the stairs. And then I looked back and I was like, did I see something? And I did. They were still there. Ew. And so then I ran and I went to the bathroom. Was it a woman? It was just a silhouette.
Whitney's like, what?
Looking through the door, like a dark like shadow. And it was like it was in the middle of the night. So then I sat in the bathroom for like probably 30 minutes because I was like so scared to go back downstairs. And then when I went back, they were gone. And I went back and I laid down in bed, and I didn't want to sleep in my own bed, so I got in Hallie's bed. And Hallie and I would always like tickle each other's arms and like back. And when I looked over to like go back to sleep, she was asleep, but her eyes were wide open and she was staring at me. And I was freaked out. So I and so Hallie's eyes were like open. And I don't know if I've ever told her this, but I woke her up. And I was like, Hallie, like, wake up. And she's like, what? And I was like, I just wanted you to tickle my back. And she was like, oh. And like, we went back to sleep.
That's so scary. I've never heard that before. That's horrifying.
Another one was, and like I heard the house like creaking that night, like I was going down the stairs. I don't know. I heard like toys go on and off randomly throughout the house. And I would be like, I was babysitting, and I actually called the neighbor to come over because I was little, and it was one of the first times I like left alone babysitting. I was old enough, but like, you know, mom was like, call me if you need anything. Like, I'll only be gone for an hour or something like that. And the front office room next to mom and dad's by the stairs, there was like a toy that had like gone off, and it would just like keep hitting the wall, but I didn't know what it was. So that terrified me. I don't know if Whitney remembers this one. Oh no, I feel like I blacked out. But Whitney and I were sitting on the couch downstairs. Wait, what? And it was like the rounded couch by the sliding glass doors. Yeah, in the basement. And we were just talking, and I found out after, I think it was during the time you had an experience, so you were really like sensitive then and like on edge. Really, I slept on the couch for like 6 months after. Yeah, so you were on the couch. It was like, I don't know when it was, but I like heard something, and so I turned my head, just like I looked over the couch, like the back of the couch towards Brighton's bathroom. And I like looked back at Whitney, and she was like, what? Like she noticed instantly that like I had changed, and I was like, nothing. And she was like, what is it? Like, what do you mean, nothing? And I was like, no, it's fine. Like, it's nothing. And she was like, no, tell me right now. Like, what was it? And I was like, I just thought I heard someone like whisper your name. And she kind of lost it and went up the stairs. Shut up. Okay, so that would happen consistently. That's so weird. Yeah. I remember like people saying Whitney or like yelling my name, and no one was there. And then when we moved to the new house, I was terrified because I'm like, if somebody says my name, like it's over for me. How am I going to feel safe in this house? And I was in the shower down here by like the kitchen now, this house now.
No.
Shoot. Well, I was so scared. No, it's a comforting story. I only heard it once, and then I felt like it was gonna never happen again. But someone said my name in that shower,
Interesting.
Whitney, and then it went away.
I do feel like
Yeah,
our house
that
now
was-
is safe. Like it feels good. At least
Yeah,
to me.
this house, I would say, I don't feel any like.
Yeah.
It's not.
I mean, I have. Huh?
It's just not at all the same.
Yeah.
No, I honestly was feeling like I was like being terrorized. Like,
Yeah.
it was like it was either good or bad, but whether it was good or bad, it was waking me up or I couldn't sleep. And so it never felt good.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, thanks for sharing. If there's anything else you want to share, then speak now or forever hold your peace. I'm just kidding.
Mom, did you talk about your bedroom door not staying locked and going open? And then like you asked us like, who opened my door? Like who keeps going through the balcony door? And then you replaced the lock and then it kept blowing open in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I did say that. I forgot that we replaced it and it still happened. But yeah,
Yeah.
we can talk about that.
I don't know. The house was just so sensitive. I felt like there was things that I dreamed and it would happen, or like I knew someone was going to say something the next day and they did.
Uh-huh. I remember you talking about that. You would always write in your notes stuff too. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was just very
I feel like
intuitive.
Huh?
It was just like a very intuitive time too, like on top of everything else.
Yeah, like I had no tools on what I could do to like protect. So like everything was feeding in, but I felt crazy because I'm like, is this my anxiety? Is this truth? And it was kind of all at the same time. But like, yeah, things would just happen. I'd write it down and then it would happen. Or if I said it out loud, it wouldn't happen.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
I think there's so much more, but I literally like, did you guys keep journals during that time?
No, I think we all were kind of in the same place where it's like it was too scary to write it, too scary to speak it. Like I would say, I bet Camille and Mandy remember things because those are the two people I felt comfortable kind of like saying some of the stuff that was happening. So I could ask them because sometimes it'll come up randomly and Camille will be like, well, don't you remember this? Don't you remember that? And they're things I don't remember. So yeah.
Yeah. It took me like 6 months to write down the one with the girl at the end. And it was the same page I talked about Grandma Ginny. So I'm pretty sure it was year 2014. So if you have any journals then, I think that's where a lot of the experiences happen.
I wonder. I want to see if I do. Yeah. I wonder.
okay, well, thank you so much for answering and stopping your bike ride. And if you think of any, we're going to keep podcasting because we're to the point we haven't said we moved yet. And so we're going to kind of transition into that. But if you think of anything that you're like, oh my gosh, this one, yeah, text us. Text me.
I wish I could remember. Sounds good.
Okay, love you
Love
guys.
you.
Okay, oh, wait. I mean, I'll say every time I told the story of the little girl, something weird would happen in the house.
Oh yeah.
What do you mean?
So that, like, it terrified me to talk about the girl in my room.
You were
because
telling
something always
Mandy,
happened.
right?
Yeah, so
yeah,
I
in
was,
the kitchen.
and I remember telling Mandy, every time I tell the story, something scary
Yep.
always happens.
That's what it
So
was.
it had to have
I thought
happened
it
before
was just
something
you.
else was happening because I said that to her. And then I was in the kitchen telling her, and then the whole house shut off. And then Hallie and Jordan were in the bath and they were screaming. It was right when I said like the big, and she was right there by the bed. And then the whole house was like, doof. Jordan and Hallie were like,
Well, I remember being like, why are they
upstairs
screaming
and, like,
upstairs?
it's
Like,
see.
yeah.
Oh, and then Mom, I remember hearing you and Dad fight all the time. And then I'd walk up the stairs and just sit on the stairs listening. I mean, it was hard to tell because it's like there were probably times you actually were. And then you're like, but I swear there's times you said we were and we weren't.
Yeah, no, that's one thing that both Brighton and Kinley said, and you guys would always come up and say that to us when we weren't fighting. And I also said that the lady that lived in our house afterward, and I asked, did you notice anything? That's the one thing she said is our kids always come to the bedroom and ask why we're screaming at each other. And she's like, we're not.
Because I remember going up to the door and putting our head on it and being like,
And no one was talking. Like, even.
I almost want to like call Keegan and be like, do you remember anything from that? Because he was around a lot during that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does he, Tony, remember anything?
probably. He's my living diary. Okay, I'm actually going to text him and just ask. And if he texts back, cool.
Yeah.
But same with you guys. If you
If I
think of
had my
anything.
phone, I would text Camille and Mandy.
Okay, love you.
Was it you during girls' camp that was telling all the stories, or something happened at girls' camp that year too? Yeah, it was like you guys were telling everything about the house. No, something happened that night. Was it Lauren? No. Oh, so Brighton, do you remember we were telling the stories?
I'm
And then
kind of
that
remembering.
night, I went to bed and I dreamed of Grandma Ginny, but something touched my head and I woke up and its hand was still on my forehead. And then I just like gasped and then it like took its hand off. But I was like sleeping away from you and no one was putting their hand on my head.
And we
it
were
was
talking about it that night,
We
right?
were talking about it, and that's why I get nervous even talking about it.
Yep.
Like a lot of times things correlate to it, but like legit, it was putting its hand on my head. So
Yeah.
I remember that.
I forgot about that, but I remember it now. And I remember being like, I got traumatized, so I have to tell all these Girl Scout or Girls Camp girls that like were so terrified. But it was honestly kind of funny before that happened.
Okay, love you. Okay, bye.
Love you.
That's freaking funny. Well, we could talk about so much, but I am thinking like, so what were the other things that you were doing during that time to help? Because I know you reached out to multiple people and it wasn't just...
I can shift to that.
But is there anything we're kind of missing? I know Kinley's texting Tony, which
I mean,
was
if you
her
want, I
longtime
can
friend.
text Camille and Mandy.
You could, why not?
I mean,
Do you know where your
kind of
phone is?
neck deep at this point.
Yeah.
For me as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, honestly.
Dude, isn't it wild though, like as we're waiting, isn't it so wild that we all experience the same exact things? Like, does that just not validate the story even
It's
more?
interesting. Yeah.
Because I'm like, I've always kind of not talked about it because I've been worried about like skeptics and like, not like I care if people don't believe me because I really don't. It's more, especially during that time, like it just was so real that anyone trying to like tell me it wasn't real, it was just like kind of hurtful at that same time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just cool now to be like, no, I'm not crazy. Look how many people separately said they experienced the same thing separately. Like,
I mean, that's a reason most people don't speak about hard things that happen to them is not being believed, being
'Kay.
so scared.
So
For
Camille says she
sure.
can talk for a minute. And I'm curious what things, if she'll
Okay.
say the same things we've talked about or
Yeah.
she'll have different things.
this is our aunt for
So
the
we can
listener.
Decide later if we just cut this out because it's repeat or if she remembers something different.
I mean, it kind of just still validates the story
Okay,
too.
but I didn't realize that Whitney saw her as an 8-year-old. I always thought Whitney saw her as a woman, and I saw an 8-year-old come behind
Really?
me.
I
Oh.
thought she was young too.
I thought she was like early. Camille, you are live on our podcast right now and you're faced towards the microphone. We are actually telling the stories of our haunted house for our Halloween episode right now. And you're one of the people, you and Mandy, that I would call and like talk to when I didn't know what to do and I didn't want to freak the kids out more. So I'm just curious, and I know I've blocked out a lot, but I'm curious what you remember and if what you remember is different or similar to what I've already shared.
Oh my gosh, there's so many stories. What have you shared already?
We talked about how like my door would blow open even with like the deadbolt. We talked about how my TV would go on. We talked about how the kids saw, her in our house like many times. We talked about the orbs they saw. Yeah, what comes to your mind first off? And I can be like, yeah, we talked about that or whatever.
Yeah, so there was one time that you had talked about Jordan saying that the girl in the corner was trying to play with him and that he kept trying to wake her up.
Yeah. She kept trying to say his name and wake him up. We did talk about that, and he heard buzzing in his ears, and so
that
he
was the
couldn't
same
sleep.
as her trying to play with him? No, that's separate.
Maybe
Yeah.
it was separate.
That's separate.
I think
Okay,
it
so
was
this
separate.
one, it was floating in the corner and it was buzzing and just kept saying his name. But are you saying it was different than that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that she wouldn't let him sleep.
She wanted to play though, right?
Was it a young?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
she wanted to play with him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that is different because she would try to play with Hallie and Jordan.
Mhm.
We figured out later. Yeah.
I remember one of the times you saying that your radio had turned on. Did you talk about that?
Mm-mm. Like the music.
So yes, in the middle of the night, the radio blared on and you were trying to figure out how to turn it off and you found a way to turn it off and then it turned on again.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you found a way to turn it off and it turned on again like a third time.
Yeah. I
And
forgot
that was the
but
same night. That was the same night I want to say that the door to the outside of your house was open.
Mm.
When you say radio, what radio was? Where was your radio, Mom? Like in your room?
Like the intercom?
It would have been like kind of like a boombox.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Kind of a thing.
That had a radio attached to it or something. Yeah, that makes sense. That's crazy.
Yeah.
The other one I remember is when you were vacuuming. Did you talk about this one?
I don't remember this.
So you were vacuuming and you thought that Kinley was home. And you were vacuuming, but the door slammed in front of you to her bedroom. And you thought, oh, well, maybe she doesn't want to be bothered because I'm vacuuming. And so you were vacuuming, and then you opened the door and called for her, Kinley. And the door that had slammed, you opened it and no one else was in the room.
Oh,
it was empty.
I forgot about that one, but now I remember.
Are you kidding?
Yeah. I forgot about that for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So I wasn't there.
No.
You probably never told me that.
No.
Yeah.
How would that help us? Yeah. We've gone back and forth between crying to laughing because it's kind of like we're just trying to process all the things. I mean, of course, we haven't gotten to the part where you and I went and visited someone. Maybe we should tell that part together.
Wait, this was in person?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know. I don't know this.
Do you want to share? Can you talk for a minute, Camille? Because it might be cool for you to be on them for this part because you were there. But go ahead, Kinley.
Well, Tony's texting me right now. So you guys can start your story and I'll interject if I get some.
Yeah.
Okay, so because of all this, I was feeling helpless with trying to help the kids and know what to do because it was scary and I felt bad for them and we couldn't move and I didn't know what to do. And so we did, like I said, we had somebody come bless the house that I feel like helped for a little while. And then after that, I was just kind of looking online, like, what can I do to like feel peace in the house and whatever. And I found somewhere that it said to get, now I'm trying to remember, lavender water and to spray it in a water bottle and to say a prayer, like in the house. And this is kind of funny because I remember later looking back and being like, lavender wakes up the spirits. And I'm like, did I do opposite of what I supposed to?
That's my favorite whale. Don't ruin it.
And now I'm like, was it lavenders? Because, okay, so Maria was with me when we did this. But whatever it said online, I was just desperate and I was looking for anything. So we like said a prayer and went and literally sprayed it.
You have to back up because that wasn't until we met with the guy.
Oh, okay.
He was in your house.
Okay, so I have tradition that on my birthday, I go to a psychic for fun and just get like my...
Didn't it start here though?
Start here? What do you mean?
Like, had you been doing it prior to this?
Oh, no. Like the yearly thing?
Yeah.
No, I had gone... Wait, did it start there?
I feel like it kind of did.
We did it twice.
Yeah.
But
So
it didn't start there. This was our second time.
So, okay, so second time. So it was like, oh, it's my birthday. And for fun, being like, what's the year like coming home or coming up the next following year? And so we went to this store in Salt Lake that's kind of like just a store that the Golden Braid. Yeah. And it has psychics in it that, do readings. And so I'm like, Camille, come with me because it'll be so funny for my birthday. And I scheduled with just this guy I didn't even know. And what'd you say?
I said, haha, funny.
Funny.
It'll go to your house.
So we got done with like the year coming up, whatever the reading said. And at the end, the guy looked at me and he said, did you know you have a ghost in your house? You have a spirit in your house? And I looked at Camille and we both started laughing because we're like, actually, I did. And he said, well, yeah, you are pretty intuitive. Like I would guess that you would know because this is coming through very clearly. And so he proceeds to tell me what my house looks like. He says, well, yeah, when you walk in the house, there's some stairs right there. Your bedroom's upstairs. The kids' bedrooms are downstairs. He literally gave the layout, right, Camille, of the whole house where the kids were staying and where the bathrooms were and everything, which, I mean, wow, he's pretty talented. And I'm like, what a creepy. But I asked him to go there, right? I asked him. Yeah. And I said, well, tell me where and who is it and stuff like that. And he was giving the layout and he just started to talk about this girl that wanted to be part of our family. And she was young and he described her as white or light blue dress, long hair. And she felt like she fit in the family and wanted to be part of the kids. And she felt jealous. So sometimes she would play with the toys when Hallie and Jordan were and almost make them fight, kind of playing with them. And she would try to hang out with the girls sometimes when she felt like she wanted to be part of it. He said that he saw her sitting and rocking back and forth, holding her head sometimes, like she somehow was kind of like struggling mentally with something. What else did he say, Camille? What do you remember from that conversation?
Yeah, well, he said specifically, because you had asked, well, what should I do? Is it malicious? Is it something I need to worry about? And he then suggested, well, she is hanging out in the dark areas of your home, and these are the areas it would be. And that's where he described a closet near the bottom of the stairs or in the corner around from the stairs or something.
It was the
couch.
Yeah, it was the
By the couch.
the storage room. Yeah,
On the way to my room.
Uh-huh.
And Whitney's room.
Yeah.
So that was what gave you the idea of specifically where to go and try to sage or cleanse the areas from him describing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I felt like leaving that day, like I needed to do something, and because it confirmed everything that everybody had been saying, but like I feel like we were just kind of not really letting ourselves believe it, even though we'd had so many things happen. We were still just like, well, we can't really do anything. But after leaving that day, I'm like,
you have to let me take it from here.
Yeah, this was crazy.
With me forgetting.
Yes.
So then we go to leave, and because what had happened, I remember, is he said you got a bonus question because it was your birthday. And learning about this girl was your bonus question because you hadn't mentioned it before that. And so we were driving home, and I said, that's so crazy. He picked up on that and that he knew her name was Alice. And you said, what? Her name was Alice? And I said, yeah, at the end. Didn't you hear him say that her name was Alice? And you said, no, I don't remember hearing that. I said, let's call him back. So we called, and by then he was already in another meeting or appointment or something. And so I spoke with the receptionist, and I said, hi, we were just there for a reading, and we were wondering if he had mentioned that her name was Alice, and he'll know what we mean. And she called us back, and she said, hi, this is Sarah from the Golden Braid. And to confirm, yes, her name is Alice. Have a good day. Like
we about died. And so totally confirmed the name. And then, so to this day, I don't ever really speak the name. But thank you, Camille. So Camille would call randomly and be like, do you need a gift for Alice for Christmas? Or like she would say the most random things.
I wouldn't even say that.
And then Camille, after that, we looked back into the history of the land, and we were looking for anybody named Alice that maybe had lived, but I mean, probably it goes way further back than like record of who would be.
Well, this is what was so bizarre is we Googled, even in the car ride, the name and your address, and an obituary came up of a woman named Alice.
I forgot that. Thank you for reminding me.
I didn't. I remembered that one. I didn't share it.
Are you freaking
But I want to say that the math of when she lived and when the house was built didn't really make sense.
It didn't make sense. I remember that. Mm-hmm.
But when Googled together, an obituary came up with the address and the name. Like no death or anything like that, but it popped up with that information.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for being part of this. Is there anything else? This is going to be a super long podcast, but we knew going into it, we're just going to go down this rabbit hole and go till we're done, but, is there anything else? And if not, then we're going to just move on. Not that I don't love you for reminding me about all these things.
I'm sure you probably already talked about this, but very much where you would hear fighting or think you heard someone fighting, but turns out no one was there. Or footsteps or the garage door opening.
The garage door always opens on its own. It still does because I drive past the house sometimes. And I just have to always say, like, it's just some malfunction. We tried to fix that thing so many times. The other thing is cupboards always were open. But with a million kids, I just wrote that off because I'm like, kids open cupboards, they leave them open. But it was like, I would almost test it in the laundry room, and I would like shut them and then come back in kind of a thing. And then they would just be open. But I never felt like that was solid evidence because, there's so many people in the house. But yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Thank you, Camille.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you.
And Camille has a podcast called.
Yeah.
Camille
Plug your podcast.
Plug your podcast.
Okay, yeah. Well, I have two.
It's going to sound like we're just trying to make this up so you can get a... I'm just kidding. Go.
5-minute meditations for kids if your kids need help with the calm
Ghosts.
or sensory or both. And the other is Call Me CEO, where I share stories of mothers building businesses.
Love it. Thank you. Love you.
Love you.
Love you.
Okay, bye.
So Call Me CEO for moms building businesses.
Camille Walker.
Yes, is her name. So her podcast is Call Me CEO, and then the other one is 5-minute meditations for kids, which is so cool.
Yeah.
Like, so cool. Okay, so Itoni has responded.
So Itoni is Kinley's longtime
Best
friend, best friend, yeah.
And so I asked him, he's like, you talking about the house in Atlanta? And I'm like, no.
Oh, that's
not that one.
What?
That's our...
Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah, never mind.
So he was like, okay, stories. I don't really have stories, but I remember it just felt so scary to be in there alone. He's a Polynesian big guy, okay? Okay. And he's like, remember how I would take my mom to go and lock all your doors up for the night or lock your dogs up for the night? I forgot, but when we went out of town, we had them watch, and his entire family would go to lock up the dogs at night because they were so scared.
Sad.
Which it was scary.
Yeah.
I
would
would
go
I would
alone.
make him go. He said, I also remember you telling
The
me.
bathroom again. This is stressing me out so bad. I'm like...
He's like, I also remember you telling me things like when you were downstairs and saw someone run behind the couch. You looked and no one was there. Or how blank and one of the other boys tried provoking, quote, Alice through whispering through the grates.
Mm-hmm.
Also, didn't you hear high heels walking upstairs when you were downstairs? I also
What a good
remember
memory. He's saying everything
Oh,
back.
he's my diary,
Yeah.
literally. I also remember how you remembered waking up at night in your room, and you remember there being something in the corner of your room.
Yeah,
where the mirror
That's what
behind
I
the
was
mirror.
talking about.
and thinking something is there and I don't want to see it, which is crazy. He remembers.
Sorry, Camille just said something I forgot.
I don't remember. Hold on, there's two more. He said, you should call Maria. I think she would probably have some scary stories in that house. That's actually it. So I texted Maria, but she hasn't responded yet.
That's funny.
Oh, yeah.
Poor Maria.
So Camille remembered another thing that this guy said. He said to calm her down,
Oh, yeah.
just go ahead and set a chair out for her so she has her spot to
So
sit.
she feels like she's part of the family.
And I said, hell no.
F no.
No way.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This poor girl felt left out, but there is no way I'm going to sit out a chair for her. I'm sorry. Not sorry.
And he said it so calm, too. I remember
Yeah.
telling me that.
yeah.
He was like,
She's like,
she just wants to be part of it. So if you just make her feel like she's a part of it,
what?
it'll
Isn't
be
that
okay.
like inviting other
Boundaries?
spirits into?
She's not a child in the house.
Yeah.
It was born from you.
Camille just said, and you said, hell no. That's exactly what I said then. So that's so funny. She just remembered.
So
I mean, just to fast forward a little bit, and we can bounce back if we want. It was a whole other year until my birthday again. And I still was at a loss, and we're still having issues. And it was my birthday reading again for fun, right? And this one, I called a trusted person that does readings, and I have read her book, and I just
Like
had
4
known.
books or
I had known her for a long time and known her of her work, and I'm
known
like,
of her.
yeah. And I'm gonna call her. It's my yearly thing. I'm gonna call her and just see if she has anything to say about the situation, because at that time I remember saying to her, we're about ready to move. Tell me if whatever this is going to follow us or not. And so she,
which is a big deal.
As
Could
a
you
mom,
imagine?
as a mom, I'm just like, okay, here we go, still trying to figure it out. And she said that she felt that when we left, that she would leave. That she said that she was looking for her mom and a family to be part of. And when we left that area or that house, for whatever reason, she went off to try to find her somewhere else and somehow else, but didn't follow us.
Poor other family.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know when maybe she went to the light at that point.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But she said at that point, she's not going to follow you. Like, she's going to go on her own on a different direction, whatever that is. And I was like, whew, good. And I remember the call winding down, and I said, I can't help but ask you. I said, do you come up with any kind of name for her? And she sat there for a minute. She goes, I'm seeing an A. Alice? No kidding you. I am not kidding you.
And how would that lady know
No, it is
that
a year,
you named?
It is a year different for my birthday the previous year. These two people don't know each other at all. They're in different states. There's no connection. And she said her name. And at that point, it was just like, there is no other like way I can pretend that none of this happened, because it's just like, it was just totally confirmed everything I already knew. But it was shocking for her to pull out the one name that had also been called out by the other person a year before. It was just shocking. So at that point, it became really important for me to learn how to not be fearful. I think that we had lived in fear for a few years, and as a mom, I felt helpless. And so that's when I got really serious about learning about grounding and about my energy and about what things I was letting control my fears or myself and how I was thinking. And then I was able to teach my kids those things. Like, what do you do in a scenario like this where your kids are scared and you're scared, and that's fueling that energy? And I'm grateful for that. So I'm grateful for that time to learn about like you just protecting yourself energetically. Yeah.
like
So
it really
it literally
kickstarted
did. Yeah, it literally did change the direction of our lives because of this experience. And I'm grateful now to have that knowledge and to I don't feel fearful anymore the same way that I used to.
Like, you're not in control. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it used to feel like, oh, well, spiritual
to
things
me.
can happen to me.
And I can't do anything about it because they're not physical.
And then people think I'm crazy, but it's like, we've all, I don't know if you want to say this or not,
because
but
of this,
we've all taken that lady's class, and she has classes, and how I explain it to someone who doesn't understand this or doesn't believe in it is like, she just teaches you how to protect yourself and how to meditate and to be in tune enough to understand what's going on. And I think that that's so important in any space you say. Like, honestly, if we're going back into moving into new spaces, I'm about to move into a new house, and it's so true. It doesn't feel like my space. And I don't care who you are, you can feel that it feels different. And I just think like having some little practices of like, whether you just put your stuff in there and like kind of I don't know, like fan other things out, or like do the sage, or
there's so many tools.
Or pray, or ask God to help you like clear the energy, or I don't know, have angels around you. Like, there's so many ways to say, hey, and there, even in the Bible, if we talk about that, like there's so many ways to say like, hey, you can be protected because there is a spiritual realm and there are forces that are acting on you. And sorry, this is a tangent, but if we're going back to, I do believe that there's a spiritual realm and there's evil and good forces acting on you all the time. And if we're talking about books or movies or TV shows or horror things, rap music, whatever you're consuming, like that will act on you, and it is acting on you. And I feel like the people that are the most at mercy to these things are the ones that don't believe it or don't understand or unaware of the things that are happening. And I'm going to say one more thing, because this is already a tangent and I'm already getting deep here. I also believe that the people at the top that are worshiping the devil, that are worshiping people in Hollywood, that are showing you that they worship Satan, that are coming out in devil ears like Sam Smith did out on the stage, I believe that those people believe that that's real, and they like harness that evil energy and they want to spew that out into you. And so that's what's made me more spiritual and more in tune and realizing that there is a God and there is a spiritual realm, because if they believe in it so much and they want to worship the devil all they want, then I believe there's a good side to that of like, oh, if they hate Christianity or if they hate like God and Jesus so much, there's probably a reason, and that's my truth.
And I feel like the course, going back to what you're saying, like it gave me confidence because it feels like you are helpless when things are happening and it's like, oh, I don't know why these are happening. And I'm not blaming us for the situation happening because like there's no way to know why it was happening, whatever. But it led us to find these tools to then feel like we are in control of what is in our space and what spirits are around us and all the things. Like, I didn't even know what I believed, but I know what happened, you know? I actually do have one last story was, so we ended up moving, and, well, the family moved. I didn't move. So I was there alone. And the whole family was at the new house, and I was still staying at the old house because I had got a dog, and I wasn't allowed to bring the dog. I was supposed to get rid of the dog, and I refused to get rid of the dog. So I chose to stay in the haunted house with the dog versus moving to the new house and get rid of the dog. And I was there alone in my messy room, empty house, and I was terrified. You know what? I was journaling. Oh my gosh, I was journaling. I
wonder if
and
you
I was
have it.
writing about the house, about how yucky I felt and how scared I was and something was going to happen, and then all the power went out
Again?
while I was journaling, and I kept journaling in the dark because I was like, something is happening. And so I like couldn't see, but I kept journaling something. I don't even know what I journaled. I don't have my journal here. I have it at home.
Ew.
I probably could find it because it would just come down to when the family moved. But it was horrifying.
That's
It
awful.
was terrifying, and I think that was the last night I slept there. And you guys let me come to the new house with the dog.
Well, that's about the same time then too, because
'Cause
Dad wasn't quite
Dad.
ready to move over,
Mhm.
and I said, "That's fine. You stay here as long as you want. I will be at the
You're
new
like-
house." And he, when he moved over, he said, I always believed you and everybody and everything that happened, but I didn't have anything happen for myself. And it wasn't until everybody was gone that it was so quiet that he could like tell. And he said, I was getting ready in the morning, and it was so clearly like I was not alone, and he said, and then I left, so it's, yeah, I just think, we are these souls in bodies having this experience. And, like you said, I mean, there's just things going on all around us. And it's important to understand energy, whether it's we're sitting in a room with people we know, or even with people we don't know, or things we can't see. All these things are around us. And so to be aware that we can claim our space in whatever way, and to
And
not
protect
be
yourself.
fearful, and to protect yourself is just important to know. I mean, one of the go ahead, unless I was going to share like kind of some tools for people that are listening. They're like, I've had this experience. What do I do?
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about that. I'm just observing myself through this whole episode because I've been really quiet, I feel like. And I think I disassociated during it a lot. Because even sitting here, I'm like trying to be present in the conversation.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like I'm not fully here. Like I feel like I'm part disassociated too. And
I
so
do
I'm
too.
like, gosh, it's frustrating because it's like, come on, remember, come on, be present. But I'm just speaking it probably because it's relatable, and it's also like for myself to be like, okay, I was surviving.
Mm-hmm.
I pieced out mentally, and that's why I don't remember everything, and that's okay. And then I'm like, okay, well, do I need to remember, Like, do I need to remember it all to like move on from it? It's just interesting. And I'm just
Mhm.
speaking it in the moment as I'm experiencing it.
Yeah.
So you can share tools.
I'll share one that I think is really cool, that I learned. And Deborah Katz is her name. She has a book that's called You Are Psychic, and not like in a weird way, but like everybody has a sixth sense, right? Her whole point is that you're not weird if you have these experiences. Like everybody's quote unquote psychic. If we listen to answers, we're getting messages, and one thing that she teaches is that when you're in a space, whether it's your space or you feel like you need to reclaim a space, is to imagine that you have like a paintbrush and colors, and to go, even, you don't even have to do it physically, but in your mind, you go up to, say, a wall, and you paint your name on it and your favorite color. And you're like, this is my space. I'm grateful for my space. Thank you. And then you can like turn and write your name on the other wall, and just, so you're visually claiming a space that you feel energetically you want to be yours and should be yours. And
another one
that's
too.
helped me out a lot, as well as I know one that I used during that time, which is if you feel like there is something in your space that shouldn't be, to visualize them like taking them to the front door and saying,
Goodbye. She said, treat it like a house guest
Goodbye.
that came over that
Goodbye.
stayed there well.
and in your mind opening the door and sending them on
Shutting
their
it.
way, and you visualize them getting in a car or bus or whatever and driving away, energetically sending them on their way. She just always teaches that your mind has more power than you realize, and I believe that.
I have another one
Yeah.
with this exact, like another tool that she taught us too that I actually use. It's funny because I use it all the time and I don't even like realize that I do. But so you can do this anytime. Again, like maybe you're just like not feeling that safe in a space, or like something's feeling scary. I usually do this at night when I'm either trying to go to sleep and I can't and I'm feeling like a little anxious, or like let's say I wake up from like a nightmare and I feel anxious. She says to imagine, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to say this. Your aura or a bubble, like it doesn't have to be all woo woo, but like imagine whatever color you want of a barrier that protects you as a bubble, okay? And it can be really close to your body. And like try and get really visual. I feel like the more visual you're able to get, at least for me, it like helps. So I'll wait until I like see a color or whatever. And then I just start to imagine it expanding. And it's not really like an aura, it's like a protective barrier. So then sometimes I'll literally imagine like, oh, maybe there's like gross energy that I don't want. I'll imagine like my bubble going out and pushing that, where like nothing can actually enter the bubble. And I'll do that for my entire house. Like I'll engulf my husband that's next to me and my pets, and I'll just like put the whole house into like a bubble of safety, and then I'll go to bed.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes, we actually did an episode on healthy energy. Do you have healthy energy? It was like in June or something. And we talked a lot about all the different things you could do if you're not very visual, but that was one of the things we shared. The thing you just shared about painting the walls, I do that all the time, and I kind of combine the two, actually. I imagine myself and my space in the bubble, and then I imagine taking a power washer and power washing the room I'm in to the point where it's just a sketch, like it's just black and white, and then I get to paint my own energy, so it's not like anything was there already gets to stay there.
I like that.
I think the biggest thing for me was realizing that I'm the one here with a body. Like, I am tenfold more powerful than anything outside of me, and fear is the only thing that makes me not powerful. And not that I can't be scared, because I am scared when things happen, but letting that be more powerful than me saying no and setting a boundary of like, no, this is my house, this is my space, this is my body. Like, I'm going to protect myself in this scenario. I'm trying to think of like a tool I would have that's different than those, because that's what I always do. I think that my tip would actually be, don't be afraid to talk about it with someone that you feel like would listen, because it is so easy to gaslight yourself when you're going through it. Even though we all were experiencing it and living in the same house, we were still scared to talk about it together. So, yeah, that's my tip. And if you're like, I don't know who to talk to us. Seriously, send us a message. Like, we will get on the phone with you. We understand what it's like.
Legit.
We'll be the next Ghostbusters.
Just
kidding.
Yeah.
Legit.
No one should have to
Imagine.
go through that alone.
Yeah. Especially that. That's like the
Yeah.
most isolating experience ever.
And I think a lot of
honestly.
moms go through it.
Yeah.
Where they're scared and they want to protect their kids. And
Yeah.
I have moms reach out to me all the time who are like, I don't know what to do. My daughter is really intuitive. My daughter's experiencing this thing. It's happening in her room, and they like don't know what to do, but it's also feels taboo, or like it's calling them to talk about it.
It's so interesting to me. This is one of the biggest things that baffles me, because like I have a brother that I love dearly, and he'll say, you know, Janae, I've never had anything happen like that, but I believe that you have if you say you have, you know? And there's some people that just don't ever have experiences like this. And so it would be weird to listen to this if you have never had an experience. But what surprises me is how often in a religious setting or in prayer, we'll say we pray, you know, and we're talking about, dear God, dear Heavenly Father, dear whatever, however we pray, and we say, surround me with angels, or surround me with, you know, bring your spirit to guide me, or, you know, whatever we say in a very loving, beautiful way of blessing. I believe that we say that because we believe it. And then when something happens, because I believe there's different forces, right? There's evil and there's goodness. And then when something happens from one realm or the other, everybody looks at you like, why are you talking about that? Why are you like, you're crazy, or you're, and people don't want to talk about it. It's almost like it's so people don't know what to do about it. So it's easier to not acknowledge it. But I think just like anything else, when you won't talk about it, it makes it harder to manage it.
And it's changed all of our lives because we talked about it and because we got tools. Now we literally use those tools every day, all the time.
It's one of the
even
best
when it's
things.
not
Yeah.
spirits or angels or anything, it's like just knowing how to manage your own energy and protect your energy from other people is so game changer.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the world's moving that direction because it was so 3D, and now it's kind of like, oh, maybe there's more.
There's more.
Oh, let's expand. But yeah, we actually do have a freebie.
Yeah.
And
What is it? My elixir I sprayed around the house? Or
Lavender water, holy water from Maria.
It's called energy mapping, where you get to become aware of where you are giving your energy and what's taking your energy, and learning how to like protect your energy or just manage yourself, because we're not taught that growing up. It's just like, okay, I have to say yes to everyone, and yeah.
It's kind of interesting to think about it in this setting,
This
though.
setting, yeah, instead of
Like,
the others.
how much energy was going out of us just by literally trying to live in the home?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
Mandy just texted me back and she said, I remember sleeping with Whitney, because I'd always have her sleep with Whitney. And she said Whitney would play Enya all night so she could sleep. And that makes me so sad. Like, she was so young and she didn't know what to do with all this. And so, yeah, where is our energy going? And during that time, how much energy was being sucked because we didn't know how to manage or what to do.
Totally.
You know?
When you went to the bathroom, I was telling Brighton, I don't know if it'll make the cut or not, but like, I think of the things that were happening to me in my life at that time, and they're not good memories. They're not good things, but I was also surviving. So I was like, my energy was leaking in a million places because I was just so in survival in one area that it was like, no, I'm not going to say no there. I'm going to do anything to survive in this moment.
And this is another time when I want to say, never judge other people because you don't know what they're waking up from or walking out of.
True.
I mean, even that alone, if you just take that one scenario. So for those 2.5 years, we felt tortured in our own home,
And then going to
right? And then the
school.
kids are showing up to school, or I'm showing up here, whatever
Legit.
is happening. Like,
Being stalked by a creeper.
yeah, you don't know what somebody is walking in from. And so just having compassion for people, I think it's so important.
True.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that's why I love when people are open and they're willing to talk about anything, because it's just like you only have your own lived experience, so how can you just shut off anybody else's?
Yeah, and if you listen to this and you will never listen to us again because now we're just cuckoo wacko and you're
if they're
like,
even
that's
made it this far.
Yeah, this is a long time we've been talking. But if you're still listening to this and you're like, they're weird, write us off forever, that's okay. It doesn't change what happened to us. But I would say if you care to learn something from it and you don't even believe what happened to us, I would say just to have compassion for the people that say they did go through it, even if you don't believe it and we made it all up, it really does affect their lives. And so, I don't know, I guess just having compassion.
I think it's so funny because like we were not into psychics or anything. We thought that was literally crazy.
Yeah.
But when you get to a certain point of pain, you're going to look at all options, not just one option, and that's where we were at.
Totally.
So like it was a funny thing that you and Camille went to the golden braid, but like that actually helped us so much moving forward. And I didn't even believe in it for years, even beyond that. I wasn't like, psychics are real. I thought they were still crazy, but I was still going through that stuff, right?
It's
Your
true.
last thoughts?
I mean, geez, I could go down a whole rabbit hole of like, if you don't believe in psychics and all these things, just do I even want to say this? Just look at the CIA and how much they literally contract and teach psychics how to be psychic.
Well, and that's the thing is you're going to have frauds in anything, right?
Yeah.
And you have the people that are contracted by whoever to try to get help.
Yeah.
And it's also scary. Like, a lot of people are scared to like talk to a psychic because they're going to tell them their future, which is okay to be scared, but at the same time, you would be surprised if you go to someone who's ethical about it.
I was going to say, you
have to be very intentional about who you go to, but most of the time, they're just going to tell you, trust yourself.
Trust yourself.
It's so true.
Trust your intuition.
Yeah.
It looks like you already know the answer to this.
Yes.
You know?
It's so true. And I guarantee, let's say you talked to Deborah before when it was first happening, and she like said all these things, but I guarantee she would have said, you know, Janae, you probably already know, but I'm just going to tell you anyways.
That's what the other guy said.
Yeah,
said,
true. You
"Looks
already
like you're
know because you're
intuitive."
intuitive.
Well, and they both did.
Yeah.
You know, say that. And I think that's another thing that maybe we should close it out on is just that we all if we listen to the messages that we're getting, we're all more intuitive than we're giving ourselves credit for. And even if it's just trusting ourself or trusting that, oh, I had a feeling I should call somebody, I'm going to call them.
Yeah.
Or if you like pray who to help and then like a name comes to your mind, like it's just connection that if we just respect and listen more often, I think we're all getting more messages than we realize in the first place.
Yeah,
sure.
which actually goes to an episode I think we're going to do about how to even listen, how to slow down and listen. But well, that was a long episode. It might even be 2 parts. We might do one on one night, one on the other. But we're glad you're here. I don't know how to end it. So until next time.
Until next time, stay spooky. Happy Halloween.